Hello, another video from the Angry Photographer here. I've had to give this particular video a great deal of thought. Even though I knew what the answer was, I had to go over each lens over and over again. I've been asked this question more than a few times. Many people that actually own either DX cameras are thinking about upgrading at some point in time to a full-frame camera, or have both a full-frame camera and a DX camera. There are certain spectrums of fields of view, for example, like a full-frame 16 to 35 or 18 to 35 isn't necessarily a very great field of view on a DX camera, and likewise several other lenses, especially zooms, that fall within an odd range such that either their price or like the 24 to 70, which you don't see here, which is a $2,000 lens. I mean, I would not recommend it as the perfect lens for either FX or DX, because the circle of illumination that's actually thrown out of the back of that lens, I mean, you're tossing away a little bit more than half of that, and basically you're wasting a bit over $1,000 on the lens if you have a DX. Not that it's not a perfect lens for DX, however, it is an oddball focal length. It'll work perfectly fine on an FX camera, but I can't recommend that as a perfect lens for both FX and DX, which is the premise of this video, which is which spectrum of lenses fall within both the focal length and the nature of perfect criteria, whether so you got these lenses, and it doesn't matter which camera you got, FX or DX, it is perfect and divine for both. Or you have an FX and you're going to get a DX as a backup, or you have a DX and you're going to upgrade to an FX. Which lenses, I said I had to give this a great deal of thought, are absolutely perfect, sitting as far as field of view, what they do on FX or DX, and here is the spectrum of all of those lenses. Let's start off with the lens that's currently mounted on the Nikon D750 here. That's the 24 to 85 3545. That's the VR lens. It's a ED lens, typically about $220 plus used on eBay. They're quite prolific. It's Nikon's sharpest mid-range zoom. It's excellent. I use these on all my DX cameras as a mid-range zoom. Perfect. It's an FX full-frame lens, but it's perfect on DX cameras. In no particular order, we're going to run over here to the 200mm f4. Just exquisite, divine, absolute silk, sex, and sugar perfection. Perfect for FX or DX. That is a manual focus lens. However, to say that that particular lens, as well as a few others here, cannot meter on the D3000 or D5000 series DX cameras, but I'm speaking to D7000, D7100 users, and a few others like the D90. And also in no particular order, perfect and divine for FX or DX, exquisite. The Swiss Army knife of lenses, that's the AF Nikkor 60mm, the D series. This is a pre-D. There's not really any difference between the two except for some metering information. It looks exactly like this. Not the G series, but this D series. Perfect FX or DX, absolutely exquisite, divinely as useful between full frame or DX cameras. Now, I've made many videos about 50mm, so let's assume that I'm just holding up any 50mm here. You can refer back to either any one of my number of videos about which is best, which is worst, etc. 50mm. So here we have the 50mm FX or DX. Recommend you have a 50mm. That is perfect, exquisite between full frame or DX. Also the Takina 100mm macro lens 2.8, perfect for portraiture, perfect for macro work, perfect on FX or DX. Once again, you have not the ability to autofocus this on D3000 or D5000 series Nikons, which is also why I don't recommend them, especially given the fact that you can buy a used D7000 now for about $350. Not that there's anything wrong with them. So that is the Takina 100mm 2.8. Moving on down the line, we have the 20mm f3.5. Now this, however, is a rare lens if you can't find it. Then the 20mm f2.8 D series, which is an autofocus version of this lens, slightly faster. The better of those, however, is $800, is the G series 20mm f1.8. That is $800. This is somewhat rare. Typically, the 20mm 3.5 you can find for $350, $400. Very prolific in everywhere. The 20mm 2.8, either AI or D-series autofocus. The AI manual focus is built like a tank, just like this 20mm 3.5 is. Perfect for FX or DX. Now these are never cheap regardless of what shape they're in, but perfect for FX or DX is the 16mm full frame fisheye lens. Now this is an oddball manual focus early version, but the 2.8 version of this, or even the autofocus 2.8 version of this, is exquisite. Roughly a 20mm lens on a DX camera, field of view. Angle of interception, perfect for full frame or DX. Next on down the line, the 105mm 2.5 Silk, Sex and Sugar, Divine Sublime Perfection, FX or DX. Rather cheap and just an absolute exquisite lens without parallel. Built like a tank. Exquisite rendition, color contrast. Not having one is almost an immortal sin. On down the line, as I mentioned many times, perfect for full frame or DX. APS-C crop sensor, the 135mm, either f3.5 or 2.8, or even the slightly rarer f2. Cannot go wrong with 135mm macro Nikkor. Perfect for FX or DX. Extremely fast, blazing autofocus. Perfect for full frame. Perfect for DX. Without question, the 70 to 300mm VR 4556, the G series only. Only get the 70-300 VR, not because it has vibration reduction, because this is a superior constructed lens. Typically $300, $320 minty used on eBay. Perfect for FX or DX. And the last in these series of lenses to be discussed, perfect for full frame, perfect for DX. The beautiful, the exquisite, the divine, the sublime, the 80 to 200 D series 2.8. Just built like a tank. Just absolutely incredible. I've talked about this endlessly. I don't even know if I need to discuss it anymore. 600 plus minty used, new is 1200. There's a reason why this quote-unquote old lens is still made. It's got low element count. It's just exquisite. It's the best. Doesn't have the fastest autofocus, but it also has the best color contrast and picture rendition of any of the larger 70 to 200s, which this is an 80 to 200, but any of those lenses in that range. So these are all the lenses which are absolutely, and like I said, I gave this a great deal of consideration. Undying perfection between FX or DX. They will make you exquisitely happy if you have a DX and are thinking about a full frame, or have a full frame and are considering about getting a DX as a secondary or backup camera, etc. These are the lenses that are super happy. Awesome field of view, just perfect around the clock FX or DX. The only limitations are the D3000 and D5000 series. Some of these will not meter or autofocus on them, but I've already described that in detail in other prior videos. So run them down again. 24 to 85, VRG, 60mm D, and the 50mm. Refer to other videos as to which 50mm. The 100mm Takina f2.8, the 200mm f4 Nikkor, the 20mm either 3.5 or 2.8, or even the more expensive 1.8, the 80 to 200, the 70 to 300 VR Nikkor, super fast autofocus, blazing fast, 105mm f2.5, and the 135mm either either f3.5 or 2.8. And the never to be found cheap 16mm full frame fisheye, which is also perfect as a rough 20mm on a DX APS-C crop sensor. So these are the lenses. I gave them a great deal of thought, and many of you have asked this question because many of you have both FX and DX. You're going to go from one to the other, blah blah blah. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, drop me a buck or two and let me know what you think. And plenty more videos to make. Okay? Catch you later. Bye.